broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I've never heard it.
Hey guys, and welcome to another Secrets and Lies After Show. Tonight we're going to be recapping Season 1, Episode 5, The Jacket, hence that lovely song by Cake. Get it? The Jacket, short skirt, long jacket. And before we dive into that, be sure you guys are subscribed to us on YouTube, youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. You can also catch all of our podcasts on iTunes and SoundCloud as well. So subscribe, download, rate us, you name it. I'm Lauren Salaun, and I'm joined tonight by Chelsea Briche. Chelsea, how's it going?
Hi, guys.
Cool. And where can everyone find you on Twitter?
CBRICHE.
Awesome. And you can find me on Twitter at Lauren Salaun. That's SALAUN. And while we're talking about Twitter, be sure you guys are tweeting to us during the week. We want to hear what you guys think, who you guys think's the killer, all that stuff. We love talking with you on Twitter.
Who is the killer?
Yeah, who did it? Who did it? Question every week. All right, so let's dive in. Tonight's episode started with Ben and Christy getting a little frisky.
Oh my God. I was like, this is super hot, and B, like, we can throw some scandal and some actual love into this. And I got way too excited.
I know. I was like, oh, it's about time. They're going to get down together.
And she was not feeling it.
She started it, and then she kind of, I think, got, the mental side took over, and she was like, wait, this is too weird. I'm not ready for this yet. Cut.
Yeah,
I know, I was so disappointed.
And at first, I was like, it's totally because she's so scarred from him cheating. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I think, definitely by the end of the episode, my mindset changed because I think she is the one cheating.
Right.
And she was just so inside of her own head and couldn't sleep with her own husband. So.
Yeah, I know. And I was actually reading an article, an interview with KaDee Strickland, who plays Christy, and she said that Christy has a reason to feel like a woman right now. I'll leave it at that. She has many reasons to need to revisit who she is and her powers and prowess as a woman. So that's very suggestive with maybe, could be why she's buying the lingerie or, putting the moves on Ben, or why she could potentially be having an affair. I hope she's not. I
think she is.
Yeah,
maybe I'm wrong.
It seems so much like well, here's the thing: they turn it on us all the time. So I could see her definitely not having an affair, and some other secret is going on. Maybe
that's true.
Everyone's got so many secrets and so many lives going on.
Yeah, I don't know why I make these strong opinions. Like, she's not, she is. He's not, he is. But because every time I say that, I end up swallowing my own words. But right now, I'm going to go with Christy as having an affair with a client.
Yeah.
How many times can you say I'm going out with a client?
Right.
Like,
she's always going to meet a client, which, to be fair, when you're working in real estate, you do have lots of meetings, and it is face-to-face stuff with people who are either buying or selling homes.
Totally.
But it's always a little fishy. She has these phone calls that sound a little too friendly, and she's like, oh, I have a dinner with a client, or we're going out to celebrate. Totally reasonable if you've just sold a house or your offer got accepted if you're buying a house. But when Ben later in the episode goes and kind of confronts her at her office, I think we both thought that she was going to get caught in the act
or something.
I was like,
office.
Oh, I'm so uncomfortable. What's going to happen? And she doesn't. She's just there doing normal work, but then that night has a meeting with a client. It's dark out.
Right. Here's the thing.
It is winter, so it gets dark earlier. It could just be 5 o'clock.
But I don't know, especially in that line of work, I don't know how many late night showings you're doing. You're not showing houses or clients' houses at night, and little things when he called to see if she needed to be picked up, and he heard the man's voice in the background. She's like, I gotta go.
Yeah, he's like, Christy, let's go. Which isn't really how you talk to your client.
Right.
Or your, somebody that is working for you.
And just the way that she says, with a client. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's super fishy. Maybe she has another secret, but...
Well, because Ben also says, well, does he know that he's just a client? This guy that's got you these earrings and is taking you out to nice dinners and you keep meeting with. And, when she was telling him that, when they were at the house, I believed her,
Did you?
I did up until kind of the end. It was more at the end when I started feeling a little suspicious because
she
the phone call
she wasn't on
stuff.
the defense. Like, I mean, she kept throwing out, because it's a client, but it's not like she's putting walls up or making him feel super secure that, there's no way that I'm having an affair. She just kind of would say with the client, and that was all she had to say. There was no reassurance behind those words.
Exactly. It's always so dismissive with the client. Done. End of conversation. You should trust me with just that much. But, I'm thinking, like, if you're in that position and you're not having an affair, you might be like, okay, well, here's this opportunity for you to drop me off at work because the car's in the shop, and maybe if the client's there, you can meet him. Right. No big deal.
Right. No, it's all so fishy.
Yeah. Very, very fishy. What do you guys think? Is Christy cheating on Ben? I don't know.
Yes, no.
Yeah. And then also in the beginning of the episode, we see Maddie, who is the neighbor who I'm not sure what his condition is. Maybe he's autistic or what's going on, but he, uses his iPad to communicate and, is not fully functioning in that sense of like being able to interact with everybody in the way that you would expect. And so Maddie's out alone and kind of in the woods, and so Ben goes to try and get him to bring him home, and of course Ben stops the car and starts chasing after this kid, and you're like, Ben, like, no
I don't
running,
know if that's
no kids one-on-one.
Whenever Ben runs, nothing good happens. Right. Like, just go on a treadmill inside. You can't be running in the woods. Yeah.
So during this chase, Maddie runs down to the water and drops a bloody blue sweatshirt, which is
hello.
Right? Why is he carrying that anyway, and what exactly is going on there?
Why is he trying to hide it?
Right. Because it seems like he, at some level, definitely is trying to conceal that,
I mean, I think he was on a one-way track because if you notice before it falls out, he had like a pouch in his stomach, and at first I'm like, God, what is that? But then, so obviously it was premeditated to hide it, then, he's not walking down the street flinging it around.
Right, so there's some level of knowing right and wrong, or who knows, if somebody, maybe Tyler or somebody else who's involved was like,
said, go do
told
this.
him to do this, and it's somebody that he trusts, and so he's willing to do that, and kind of listens to whoever told him to do that, so... I mean,
you don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know anything about the world after watching this show.
It always turns it on you. So Ben's chasing him, drops the sweatshirt, and he runs into the water, and so Ben kind of rescues him essentially from drowning and takes him, and he runs off again, and so Ben kind of catches like, oh, I want to grab that sweater though, because Dave had asked Ben if he had a blue sweatshirt because Cornell asked him that.
Right.
And so, that's a piece of evidence that she's looking for. And
but every time Ben goes to touch something, I like cringe.
Oh, every time I'm like, stop, don't put your fingerprints on it.
Anything like besides your food and your toothbrush,
right?
You know what I mean?
Don't mess with stuff, just turn it in.
Yeah, just, kick it over with your foot. I don't know. I'm not a detective.
Use a stick.
But
yeah, come on.
I mean, his fingerprints are everywhere.
Everywhere,
like,
on everything. He always just...
Right.
Picks it up.
Right. Put it down, Ben. That's my advice to you.
Yeah. Ben, stop running. Stop touching things. Chill out. But yeah, when Ben brings Maddie back to Lisa, who's the mom, I thought that was interesting because she was actually kind of welcoming to Ben that initial time, I think she wasn't put off as most of the other neighbors and people that we've seen have been. She thanks him and is friendly as you can be when your son is like has run off like that. And she, he asks if she's got after that actually he runs back. Ben runs back to the woods to try and find the jacket, and of course it's gone. Yeah. So
how is it gone?
Well, as we learn later, there's someone involved who sure knows a lot and is keeping an eye on Ben. So they're seeing every move that's going down and covering their tracks or his tracks or whatever's going on. But we see Lisa has a busted lip and stuff, which definitely caught my attention at first.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah, awful. And so Ben, with this whole sweatshirt thing, decides to go to the police station and tell Cornell that he found a bloody jacket that Maddie was carrying, but then when he went back, it was gone.
Right. And I think it's like he's trying so desperately, but everything that he's doing, I feel like, is backfiring. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like Cornell said, so you're coming to me with quote-unquote evidence, but you don't have the evidence.
Right, and it's evidence that he knew she was looking for, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's silly.
Just
he
like
just
a little,
keeps...
it's a full circle, you know? He's just going around and around and around, and I think stabbing himself a little bit, you know, each corner he turns, because... You know, at this point, since he's such a suspect, why does she have to believe that he even saw the jacket?
Right.
You know, there's no evidence.
Well, she doesn't have to.
Right.
I mean, who knows? Yeah, that, if you don't have it, I mean, here's the thing.
Just keep your mouth shut.
During the whole show, I keep being like, Ben, tell the police what's going on. If someone's vandalizing your fence or your car or whatever's happening, tell them, report it so it doesn't come back later and you're withholding evidence or whatnot. So on the one hand, I'm like, yes, you should tell the police what you saw, but then if you have nothing to then direct them to, or there's no actual evidence.
Maybe it's in the manner he's doing it. I don't know. I mean,
because he's always so frantic and
he's so frantic and he's
intense.
Right. He comes off so crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, it's just not going well for Ben Crawford.
No, it isn't. And he goes again back to the woods and finds Tyler, finally,
that just pops up.
We've been waiting to see. And last week we saw, you know, they showed a blip of the house and there's music happening, but it doesn't seem like anyone's home.
Right.
So it, you know, when it's just Lisa and Maddie, you're assuming, I think last week, that definitely Tyler's in there hiding somewhere.
Totally.
And so we see him, you know, smoking in the woods and seems kind of like a little bit of a problematic kid. To a certain extent.
Everywhere.
Yeah, beers everywhere. We learn later from Dave, who learned from Nat, that he's been in rehab 3 times.
Yeah,
as it is.
Like 18.
Yeah,
you know,
if that, like 17 years old or something, which is pretty heavy for a kid in high school. And on to Ben and Dave. It seems like they've definitely reconciled and stuff. And I thought it was I got a little nervous for Ben, which maybe will come back to haunt him when Dave's talking about, you know, when he spills the beans about Tyler having gone to rehab. He's like, oh, shoot, I keep, like, spilling everyone's secrets. I'm so bad with secrets. Gosh, no one should ever tell me their secrets. And then he's like, oh, except you. I got your back, buddy.
Right. I don't know. There's something, I'm genuinely glad that him and Dave, you know, kind of reconciled and, you know, maybe Dave didn't sleep with Natalie or whatever it may be. But at the same time, I just don't fully trust him. There's something super off, like how he just kind of nonchalantly says things or asks things, or I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it, but I wouldn't say that I trust Dave or totally rule him out for not playing a huge part in this whole.
I agree. I think we're still waiting to find out what exactly happened that night, and I think we will find that out. And I think that Dave knows more than he's saying, because Ben even asked, you know, did I call Jess that night, or was I wearing a blue jacket? You know, and he's like, oh, I don't even remember.
Right.
I don't buy it.
I don't either.
I think he knows a lot more about what happened that night than he's saying.
I agree with you, because I don't know if it was the first or second episode, but you know, he remembered that they took separate cabs, or you know, different things kind of kept falling into place. So for whatever reason, Ben had a lot more to drink than Dave, or you know, doesn't remember.
Or got drugged. I feel like he got drugged,
I think
and
so
it's
too.
trying to get pinned on him.
Yeah.
That's what I think is happening.
Because I think it's so bizarre. I mean, there's such a difference between like blacking out and. I mean, I don't know. There's just something so weird why he doesn't remember anything.
Right.
Not a phone call.
And then he was able to get up and go running the next day. I feel like...
Right. Like,
I mean, I don't have much experience with, like, date rape drugs or anything, but, like, when that happens...
I'm pretty sure you're not going to be working out in the morning.
Yeah.
Right?
Or even if you're, like, that wasted, you know?
Right.
So who knows what went on.
It's weird.
I'm eager to find out. So, yeah. And then I really love... Ben and Abby's relationship. I think they're so sweet. Yeah, they're so sweet, and he's so tender toward her, and they have such a cute relationship. And she gets invited to a sleepover this episode, I know it's really sad. And so they're talking about friends that are kind of not friends anymore, and they go to this party, and she made all these cookies to share with everybody. And the dad comes out and is like, "Oh, it was canceled. Didn't you get the email?" And
you knew the second he said that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Then all the little kids start poking their heads out, and they're there. So it's just like such a crappy thing to do to the kid, and they're saying, because of what happened at the winter festival or whatever it was, that, where she punched another kid for calling Ben names, which, girl, defend your dad.
Right. I get probably as a parent, you have to somehow take that, like, when they were afterwards, when they're having their milkshakes or whatever, he's like, Abby, actions have consequences. Right. So I think that was a really cool parenting moment to, see that Ben's still trying to be a good father. But at the same time, these are such outstanding circumstances that, like, that has to be hard to find the balance of being a parent, let alone being like, all right, thank you for standing up for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we're a family and we're kind of in this together.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was such a good teaching moment for him with her, but like so crappy of the other parents to like band together and be like, oh, we don't want her coming because she hit that other boy. Right. Which, again, very unique situation that's going on here. She's got a whole lot of crap going on with her family that, no, you don't excuse bad behavior, but maybe you don't like kick her out of the whole sleepover party.
And in middle school, how like world shattering that is. You know what I mean? For these little girls to be catty and mean, and then to know that there is a secret discussion going on about you and your family, and then not allowing your child to like live their Friday night or whatever it is.
Yeah, and with like the parents supporting, like essentially bullying this little girl that way. Oh, so sad. And come on, if you don't get a response to the email that the party is being canceled, wouldn't you want to avoid the awkwardness and maybe pick up the phone and call them just to confirm?
Well, here's the thing. There's no email. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or when people are like, you didn't get my text? Or like, you didn't get my email?
Right.
Like, there was no
I get
text
it.
or
It's
email.
a TV show. They want to make the drama, but like, come on, parents, try a little harder. The next big moment is someone once again vandalizes their property and writes guilty on Christy's car. And so before, they had, what was it, child kill?
Or something on the fence. Murder.
Child killer or murderer? Child killer. Yeah.
I think so.
And so Ben doesn't want to report it. Of course, he wants to go to the police station for every other little thing and doesn't want to report that.
Station.
Yeah. And when something actually happens that you can tell them about, he's like, no, I don't want to. It's going to raise more questions or whatever. And so Christy, which I'm proud she did, she's like, well, then I'm going to call the cops.
Yeah.
Because that kind of stuff, come on, buddy. Report that.
They have to know what's going on.
If someone's harassing you. That's repeated situations. So Ben again confronts Lisa about Tyler. And I thought he just overdid it so much with this poor family. Goes and confronts them and is saying like the stuff about Tyler, thinking he vandalized the car in that sense. And then Ben keeps essentially accusing everybody of doing something.
Right. And he has to stop because, like we've been saying, everything's backfiring.
Right.
And it's making him look completely insane. Because when you go around and just have these outbursts, like he's not doing it with any sort of care. You know what I mean? Like whether it's at the dinner party or at a function or waltzing in someone's house, you can't just go around pointing fingers at people. It's not like, oh, you said this is about a murder. So he's kind of, I can imagine the fear and everything inside of him. But it's almost like you have to take a step back and realize, obviously he's telling his daughter that actions have consequences, and he's running around the neighborhood just pissing people off.
Yeah, he's like man who cried wolf. Right. I swear, he's like, he did it, he did it, he did it. So when he actually has something good,
no one's going to believe him. Yeah.
Which
I feel like might happen.
Yeah.
Or it's happening. Cornell's like, please stop doing my job. Like, you're doing an awful job at it,
And she references a case that she worked before where a woman sent herself a letter, some sort of letter to make it look like she was getting stalked or something. And that woman ended up being the murderer.
Which, in all fairness, this is looking like he's doing it to himself.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a good parallel that Cornell kind of gave to kind of tell him to slow your roll. Yeah, to chill out because you're starting to go a little cuckoo. And I felt like Cornell throughout this whole episode was a little more of a real person. I feel like the last few, she's been very like stone cold and such a hard ass. And I think this time we definitely saw a few moments of her looking out for Ben.
I think so too, which was kind of cool to see that dynamic, especially when, and I'll get into it, but when the flashlights and that whole situation happened, she genuinely, I feel like she cared and wanted to protect him. He was even kind of like, why do you care?
Yeah.
I think he was taken aback because he's so used to her breathing down his neck. And, she's like, I need you to understand that this is serious, so let me kind of help you. And so I did think that was like a cool character, twist, I guess you could say, for them to show.
Yeah, I agree. It's bringing more depth to her character for sure. And I like that she's starting not necessarily to believe Ben, but a bit more sympathetic to him. And let's talk about the flashlight situation. So he sees a trail of blood going to his garage and then opens the door. Oh, and both of us, while watching, we're like, don't touch the door. Don't touch the handles. Don't touch anything. And he pins in the code to open the garage. It opens up, which he probably... I don't know, do you open the garage when that happens, or do you go back through the house and peek in?
I mean, I definitely thought, I have to say, I thought there was a body, or there was just something.
Or the one flashlight got unwrapped and was just sitting there.
I wasn't going to go with flashlights because the blood threw me off, but...
so there's like 20 flashlights all in a row.
Creepy.
So
all the same flashlight.
Creepy. Yeah, and so Cornell... basically is taking that very seriously. And she got a text which appeared to be from Ben, which wasn't, he said. And so she's pretty much like, this is a very serious threat. And she comes back later and tells him, we did a threat assessment and this is legit. Whoever did this knows that the news teams are going to be there from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So they did it so everyone would see.
They've been watching.
Yeah, they knew how to hack into your garage. They knew how to hack into your phone or however to send me that message. They're paying very close attention to what's going on.
Which is terrifying. That means that someone is literally watching him and his family and they just have no idea.
Did they steal the jacket back?
Right. And how do they know the garage code?
Right.
There's a lot of questions I have, and I need someone to answer all of them.
I know. It's very stressful. Always more questions, more secrets, and more lies every week. So, again, back to Lisa and Maddie and Tyler. So Ben goes over there again to talk. Of course. He went there like 4 times. I was like, good Lord, man. Leave this poor family alone. And he's like diving into to Maddie, which I felt like was a little... It made me uncomfortable, definitely, because you can tell that this poor kid is in distress.
So uncomfortable.
Yeah, so uncomfortable, doesn't completely comprehend what's going on, and he's like, who did it? Where's the sweatshirt? What do you know?
He's just thinking through things.
I felt like he needed to approach that a little more calmly, given, whatever
he's just
Maddie's condition is.
So frantic 24/7.
Yeah, so he's so frantic, and he sees that the house is torn apart. I mean, Lisa's got the busted lip, the house, like, there's broken stuff everywhere.
But how sketchy.
Super sketchy.
He's like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah,
seems like the stairs are
very
broken,
weird.
The lamps are on the floor.
Yeah, and so we learned that ever since Tom's death, that Maddie needs strict structure and stuff to feel comfortable and all that. And ever since like the news crews and all that, he's been acting out and been violent, and as evidenced by the whole house and her lip and all that stuff. And so Ben, of course, is like, he did it then, and accuses Maddie of doing something, probably not intentionally, but accuses him of probably doing something bad. And we also learn when he's at the house that Tyler is there hiding out because he got drunk and drove and got in an accident and then ditched the car. We later find out nothing really bad happened, like he hit some mailboxes or whatever, but he decides to turn himself in, which I think was, again, with the theme of like owning up to your responsibilities or your actions, which has kind of been present this episode. So that was good to see. And I think ending the episode, I didn't really feel like Tyler was a suspect anymore. Definitely in the beginning, I was like, oh, this kid's going to give us a lot of juicy stuff.
Do you believe when Lisa was saying, that Maddie has been acting out since the news cruise? Like, do you believe that whole chunk of story?
I'm sure that he's acting out like it's elevated, whatever is going on.
Like, did you believe her when Lisa was saying that?
Yeah, but I don't believe her that he's not violent. I mean, clearly stuff's broken, like, you know.
Right. So I just feel like if stuff like that is broken, I understand if maybe it happened this morning, but I also think that it's kind of crazy that all that stuff is broken, nothing's picked up, nothing's fixed, so it's almost like either it's an ongoing thing for whatever reason, every day something gets broken, or like I just feel like that's extremely strange that nothing was fixed or picked up. Or
or if he went like on a tear and just ran through the house and destroyed everything in a matter of 5 minutes.
Right, like 5 minutes before Ben walked in. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think that...
And with the timing of things, you know, Ben keeps going over there, which probably stresses him out a lot more. So we don't know how, like, close those instances were.
I don't know. I wanted to believe her, but I just... Like, the whole interaction between Lisa and Ben and Tyler was just so strange. You know, you could tell one was trying to cover up for the other, but then this was coming out and, like...
Yeah, I don't...
It was just a weird course of conversation.
Right.
That I feel like it didn't really all mesh together.
Yeah, and I ended up believing Tyler more. I still feel like Maddie could have been involved in some way accidentally because of what we've seen. Yeah, he has the jacket.
Right.
Though we do learn from Cornell, because when Ben says, "I think Matt's the killer," Cornell says that his GPS bracelet put him in bed. Though, hey,
but does that mean you can take it off?
But that's what I'm thinking.
Right.
You could probably take that off. How do you know he was wearing it?
Right.
You don't. So
yeah, I just when she said
I don't believe the mom.
No.
I don't believe her
Talk about a lot of secrets and lies. Lisa, homegirl's got a lot of lies going on.
Yeah.
But when Cornell said the GPS thing, I was like, wait, that's just that's almost like a red light, because I just feel like, you know, that's not injected in his body, like someone or him or whatever
it's not
happened.
Like a dog GPS tracker thing.
Like you can take
microchip.
that off. Yeah. Like it's not in his soul. So
right. So that's not a completely
legitimate thing.
Location.
Like you can't just throw it to the side.
Yeah. Which would be a really good way to frame somebody or put it on someone else if you can just slip that little bracelet off there.
Like, no, it's here.
Yeah. So Cornell again comes to the house, but this time with Cooper, Nat's ex-boyfriend.
Right. They're
and
done.
That he is the vandal. He's the one that painted on the fence. He's the one that messed with the car, all this stuff, which I almost felt like he's not. Like he's covering for someone else.
It was just so random.
It seemed like, very
why did
weird.
They make that Cooper?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He was pissed because Ben wouldn't let Nat see him.
Right.
So okay, doing that kind of crap, and then you came forward and admitted what you did, but how's that going to make her want to go out with you anymore?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's just like a dumb teenage boy. Yeah, like if that's just I'm going to ride on your car, stupid thing. Like I'm going to egg your house. I don't know, but there was just. That was just kind of so random to me. Like, I totally forgot that Cooper existed in this show. You know what I mean? And then for him to show up and be like, I've been vandalizing your property.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, it was
very
kind of strange.
Bizarre. I feel like there would be different ways of, I mean, I don't know. If you're a teenage kid and you wanted to get at your wannabe girlfriend's parents, maybe that you do that. That's an easy jab at him.
Yeah, he's just high and just painting
serious.
On cars and... He's like, haha, got you, Mr. Crawford.
Right.
But I don't know. That was just kind of random.
It was so weird. Oh, Cooper. So at the end, we have actually, before we get to that, let's talk about Ben. We already mentioned that Ben goes to Christy's office to kind of try and catch her in the act, which we thought he was going to. And they have a pretty intense conversation there. He's like, tell me what you want, because he clearly suspects that she's cheating on him and wants to kind of get an answer one way or the other. And I thought that was really well written. I think they repeated the but a 5-year-old's dead thing a little too much.
Totally agreed.
But I thought that part was well written and explaining kind of the complexity of what she's going through right now. She's like, I want to be furious. I want to be crying and upset and so pissed at you because you cheated on me and had a baby with another woman. But I can't be mad because that's nothing compared to someone's child having been murdered, which is true. It's nothing compared to that. but it still is something, and it's still really crappy for her. So I thought they did a good job of kind of showing her position on that, and she kind of ends it with like, I hate you, but I also love you, and you're the suspect in a 5-year-old's murder who happened to be your son.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. That whole chunk was really well written. And I think for the first time, we kind of were like on Christy's sides, and you know, we're kind of like, wow, you know, I think we've been watching her. She's been stone cold and like a little bitchy here and harsh there, and what is she doing and where is she going and why doesn't she have Ben's back or whatever. But I think that was really heavy, and I think in those moments that was cool to kind of be like, wait, if she's right, and I can't imagine feeling all those things or being in her position. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do if you are Christy? You know what I mean? Yeah. Neither of them are perfect, but like, what do you do?
Yeah, she's coping in her own way, I guess, which may include sleeping with a client.
No, but I'm glad that they showed that little blurb.
Yeah, I thought that was great. And so, the end. We see Ben getting into his truck in the parking garage.
Which is so sketchy. As soon as I saw the empty parking lot, I was like, I feel like I was in a scary movie.
Yeah.
Like, so they're like,
got nervous. I'm like, I'm sweating. What's happening? And he gets a text from an unknown number that says, you will pay for your sins.
Right.
And I kind of thought it was going to like end there maybe. And
really?
Yeah. Well, and the radio goes off.
As soon as the radio went off, I'm like, talk about sweating. I was like, I feel like it was happening to me.
Oh no, someone's in his car. They're going to strangle him or like
he's dead.
Break the glass. Yeah. Something crazy is going to happen. Yeah. So radio is off, lights go off, parking garage lights go off. So again, we're back to whoever I'm assuming it's the same person who messed with the garage and put all those flashlights in there, because that's a very high level of being able to mess with somebody.
Which is exactly what Cornell said. Yeah. You know, she's like, whoever is following you or watching you or whatever, you know, she's like, they're very highly skilled and like they know what they're doing. Yeah. And to like rake someone's car like that, I mean, he's no joke or she's no joke.
No, it's, oh yeah. And yeah, so it was intense. I thought this episode was great.
I mean, I love the show. I think it's so cool to like be on your toes all the time. You know, it's like watching a really cool mystery movie. And
right.
I'm super into it. So
not knowing what way it's going to go, and every week I feel like they lead us down a different path, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah. So every few minutes my mind changes. So I think it's cool.
I think they're doing a great job. So what do we, and actually in another interview I was reading, or maybe the same one with KaDee Strickland, they were talking about, because as I'm sure everybody knows, there is a Secrets and Lies Australian show, which was the original, and they remade the Secrets and Lies that we're all watching on ABC. But the Australian version, I believe, had 6 episodes, and our ABC version has 8. So we've got a little bit more. And in interviews I'd read with Barbie Klingman, who developed the show, the Australian version for US, she said that, you know, ABC really wanted them to ramp up the secrets and ramp up the lies, which I think they definitely are ABC, delivering on. Yeah. And also that in the interview with KaDee that I was reading, they're talking about spoilers and stuff. So if people watch the Australian, because I haven't watched the Australian version of the show because I didn't want to have anything spoiled for me.
I have to tell you, so and when I missed last week, sorry guys, I was catching up on the episode today, and I thought maybe it was on Netflix, you know, so I got on Netflix on like Secrets and Lies, and I clicked on it because it's the same thing, you know what I mean? And I started watching a few minutes, and I was
who are these people?
So, genuinely, you guys, I was sitting there just like so confused. Yeah. But no, I clicked out right away because I realized that it's a different version. Like, don't tell me anything.
Yeah, so they have this whole other version, which I'm not watching until after ABC Secrets and Lies is done, because I don't want to mess anything up. I want to be right there in the moment with all the secrets, all the lies, not knowing what happened. But KaDee said, so the interviewer asked her, you know, if somebody's watched the Australian version, will they, like, you know, will they miss out on the ABC version? Will it all be spoiled and like all the answers there for them? And she said no, that they totally changed it. Like that they filmed, I think, the various alternate endings, so like a handful of different endings, and she said that she didn't even know which one they were going with for the end of the show.
But that's cool,
which I think is so cool. Who knows if that's true and if she knows or not. But that's so cool, because you don't want that stuff to to get out, and especially if there's already a show that is the same show essentially. You know, it's fun to be able to play with it that way and kind of put your own spin on it. So I'm very excited to eventually watch the original show and then see be able to compare the two together too. So very exciting. Yeah. So anything else about today's episode that we should cover? I feel like we got through it all.
I think we're good.
What about some predictions for next week?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right. I don't know that I have any concrete predictions really at this point. I feel like I'm always, every week, I'm like, they're the killer. They're the killer. No, what about them?
I don't know. Like, this show, like I said, every time I say something, I am just so wrong. But, so I actually don't really know what to say. I don't know what to think. I do think, though, what is Tom's father's name? The army.
Why am I forgetting his name?
I don't remember.
Why am I totally forgetting his name?
Anyways, I don't think that, like, he's out. I think he's definitely coming back, and I just do feel like he plays a larger role in this.
Scott.
Oh,
in the notes.
Good call. So all I'm going to say is I think Scott comes back. I don't know how or why or in what manner, but that's my prediction.
Okay.
And besides that, I got nothing.
So we see in the preview for next week, right at the end of the show, that Ben goes after the reporter. So
yeah, because that guy's such a jerk.
I know. I mean, that was really smart of him to do to get info and stuff, but shady.
That was such a shady
so I'm very curious to find out why. Does he leak another story? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's something.
That's. I feel like he could potentially leak something else about Ben's family.
That's what I think.
And that would push Ben to
just
go
lose
on
his mind.
Though he's losing his mind already and going to everyone's houses and confronting them, so it could be for barely anything at this point. And then we learn that Ben has a stalker, which obviously we kind of get with the flashlights, the car locking, and all that stuff, and that he gets kidnapped and he's in a cage and being water tortured. Totally not a direction I saw things going in.
I mean, that is serious. I don't know how it's going to play out, obviously, because we haven't seen the episode yet, but that's kind of a whole other level, and I just don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to see. I feel a little skeptical about a kidnap torture situation.
Right.
I definitely like the stalker angle or being framed thing, but the kidnapping, I don't know. We'll have to see. But I do think the reporter, I think he's going to do something about their family, more specifically.
Right.
That's kind of where I'm seeing.
There we go.
What do you guys think? What do you guys all think is going to happen? Comment on the YouTube video below. Tweet us what you think is going to happen. Thank you so much again for tuning in with us this week. Be sure to check back next week. I am Lauren Salaun, and you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere at Lauren Salaun. That's LaurenSalaun. Chelsea, where can everyone find you online?
I hope you guys have a good week. Let's see. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Briche, CBRICHE.
Awesome. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.